Hello, welcome to UPSC WIT IAS learning platform, and this is me Devapriya. So in this video I'll be discussing the nebular hypothesis. So this topic is actually a part of astronomy, which is in turn a part of general geography. So let us move on. Many hypotheses were put forth by different philosophers and scientists regarding the origin of Earth. One of the earliest and the most popular theory was given by Immanuel Kant in the year 1755. Immanuel Kant was a German philosopher, and in the year 1755 he gave this theory of nebular hypothesis. And in the year 1796 this theory was again revised or propounded by a mathematician, French mathematician Laplace, in the year 1796. Let us see the assumptions of Immanuel Kant. So he considered a supernaturally created primordial matter which scattered in the universe. And there was a small rotating nebula, which means cloud of gases which consist of hydrogen and helium along with some dust particles. So he considered these matter as cold, solid, and motionless. And then these particles began to collide each other under their mutual gravitational attractions, which in turn created a random motion in the nebula, and their motion created or it generated enormous heat. As I have mentioned earlier, the nebula consists of gases like hydrogen and helium. So, due to friction and collision, uh, nuclear fusion takes place. Fusion reaction took place, and huge amount of energy was released. And thus, this cold and motionless cloud of matter became a vast hot nebula, and it started spinning around its axis. It changed the state of nebula from solid to gaseous particles, and it resulted in the expansion of the nebula. The angular velocity of motion continued to increase with the size of the nebula, and it started spinning so rapidly that an irregular ring was separated from the middle part of the nebula, and thus these 9 rings was formed. So when the disk was rotating, so when these disk was rotating, what happened is that these hydrogen and helium gases, which is less dense, they started moving towards the center, and more density elements with a very high density, they started moving away from the center, and they formed clumps of clumps of clouds which accreted to form planets. And the central mass forms the protosun. So this is how nebular hypothesis explains the evolution of solar system. So this theory has got many demerits. So let us look at the demerits one by one. It did not describe the source of the origin of hot and rotating nebula. That was the first demerit. So it couldn't explain. Next, it couldn't explain the source of energy which caused the random motion of particles which were cold and motionless in the initial stage. And one another demerit was that the collision between the particles of the primordial matter can never generate rotatory motion. That is another demerit. Then, according to Kant's assumption, the rotatory speed of the nebula increased with the increase of its size, and this was against the law of conservation of angular momentum. And this theory also failed to explain the reverse rotation of planets like Saturn and Uranus, etc. So, these are the merits and demerits of the nebular hypothesis. So, thank you. Thanks for watching.